So I am going to do this backwards. This is a dictation app I built that works on any app on my Mac, my browser, email, anywhere. And it runs completely offline, so it's private. And the whole thing is only about 170 lines of code. I wrote it with Claude. Now, most build videos would start showing you that code, but the code isn't the valuable part. The code is the commodity. The valuable part is the spec, and the spec comes out of your domain knowledge. That is the moat. So I am going to do this backwards. I've had this app running for 6 months. Instead of building it forward, I'm going to reverse engineer the spec out of the finished app. Then I'm going to rebuild it from there in plain English so you see exactly what one looks like. This is the 9500 method. Your judgment writes the specs, and Claude's knowledge of code executes it. That's the 500. You stay the architect. Here's the map. First, the architecture, the one idea the whole thing hangs on. Then we build it forward in 6 small pieces. And I'll tell you in plain English what each one does. No watching something fly by while the magic happens. Then I will stop explaining and I'll just use it for real. No safety net. Stay to the end and I'll hand you the exact PRD, the architecture, and the full code, all linked below and on my site. So you can build it for yourself, because the point was never the app. It's you learning to encode what you know and having the confidence to use AI to accelerate or magnify that. Think of AI, it's just another tool to multiply your domain knowledge. That's what you've always done. Let's start. The top line is, WhisperBar is a menu bar app that turns speech into typed text anywhere on the system. It runs locally, it's private, no internet access or cloud is needed. Now, the most useful idea in the whole build, and it's one sentence. The app is a signal chain. Sound goes in one end and text comes out the other. Microphone into a buffer in memory, then into Whisper, which does the transcription, then into the clipboard, and then a simulated paste drops it wherever your cursor was. That's the entire app. Everything else is just wrapping around that line. A menu bar icon to see what's happening, and a hotkey to set it off. Think of it like an assembly line. 5 stations. We're going to build them one at a time in order. If you understand the assembly line, you already understand the build plan. Now, one more architectural decision that matters, and then we build. There are 3 things running at the same time. The menu bar icon, a listener watching for the hotkey, and the transcription. The transcription typically only takes a few seconds, and if we ran that on the main thread, the icon would freeze every time you dictated. So the slow jobs run on the background threads, and the menu bar stays smooth. Hold that thought. You'll see it pay off in the end. And this is the decision log. It's my favorite part of any PRD. Every non-obvious choice written down with the trade-off. Menu bar instead of a pop-up window, for example. Toggle instead of a hold to talk. Clipboard paste instead of typing the text in directly. We'll hit each of these as we build, but the point is, a good PRD doesn't just say what, it says why. So the future you isn't guessing. Okay, so the architecture is locked. Now we build forward. So to set up first, one time's a little bit fiddly and then you never touch it again. We need 8 different Python packages. And the nice thing, they line up with the signal chain that I talked about before and we just drew. To capture and handle the audio, sound device grabs the mic. NumPy then holds the sound as numbers. And then Scrippy writes it to a file. To transcribe it, OpenWhisper is the engine, and FFmpeg is the one non-Python piece that decodes the audio for it. To get the text back out, Paperclip copies to the clipboard, and then PyTorGUI does the paste. And the app itself is 2 more. Rumps for the menu bar icon, and Pinput for the global key. Then you need 3 Mac OS permissions. These tripped me up for the first time. The microphone, obviously, input monitoring so it can hear the hotkey from any app, and accessibility so it is allowed to paste for you. If you ever see a warning, this process is not trusted, that's just one of these 2 permissions missing. Add the app to both, quit and relaunch. Now the config. We build the assembly line order and we start with the control panel, the config file. 3 settings, that's the whole thing. The shortcut, I'm going to use Option Space by default, and I'll change it if it does clash. The Whisper model, and this is the real 1 speed versus accuracy dial. Tiny is instant but rough. Bass, the default, is the sweet spot, fast enough to feel instant and accurate enough for normal speech. And the sample rate of about 16,000, which is just what Whisper expects. Don't touch it. Why pull these 3 values out into their own file? So the things that you actually want to change are in one obvious place, and the app logic never has to be edited to tune it. A small move, but it's the difference between a script and a tool. Let's look at the audio capture. This is station 1 on the assembly line. Get the sound off the microphone and into memory. There's a flag, recording, that says whether we're live or not. There's a list, and there's audio frames, which is our bucket. And then there's the mic stream itself. The clever bit is the audio callback. When the mic is open, it fires constantly, many times a second, handing us a little chunk of sound each time. And all we do is, if we're recording, we drop that chunk into the bucket. That's it. Start recording just empties the bucket, flips the flag on, and opens the mic. Notice what we're not doing yet. No transcription, nothing clever. 1 station, 1 job, capture, test it, and move on. Let's look at transcribe and paste. This is the payoff station where the audio becomes text and lands on the page. It's the biggest single piece, so I'll take it slowly. First, we stop recording and we close the mic. If the bucket's empty, you tap the shortcut by accident. We just reset and bail. Otherwise, the icon switches to an hourglass, so you know it's thinking. Then we take all these little chunks, glue them into one, convert the numbers into the format a WAV file wants, and write a temporary audio file to disk. We've turned a bucket of sound into a single file that Whisper can then read. Now the magic line, model.transcribe, hand Whisper the file and get text back. That FP116 false is small but a real detail. It keeps Whisper happy running on the CPU on Apple Silicon. It's in the decision log for exactly that reason. Then the paste. And this is why it works in every app. We don't try to type the text in. We copy it to the clipboard. We wait a fraction of a second for focus to snap back to wherever you were and simulate Command V. Because every app understands paste, this works literally everywhere. Browser, email, anywhere. And finally, we always delete the temp file and reset the icon, even if something goes wrong. This little bit of tidiness is what stops the app getting stuck. We've got a working signal chain. Now we need to give it a face. The menu bar icon, which is the entire visible interface. The icon does double duty as a status light. It's a microphone when it's idle, and it's a red dot when it's recording. And it's an hourglass when it's transcribing. There's no window, there's no clutter. The icon tells you everything. The last station is the trigger, the global hotkey. Right now, nothing's listening. We need Option plus space to fire the toggle from any app, even when our app isn't in the front. First, pass shortcut reads that Option plus space string from config, and it turns it into the actual keys to watch for. Then you can change the shortcut without touching any of the code. Then the listener. We keep a running set of keys which are currently held down. Every key press we ask one question. Is the trigger key down? And are all the required modifiers down? If yes, we fire the toggle. That's how it catches Option plus space globally, no matter what app you're in. This is the piece that needs the input monitoring, permission we granted at the start. Wire up and always on. Everything exists. Now connect it and make it run. We load the Whisper model once up front. That's the slow part. So we do it in a single time at startup, not every dictation. We build the menu bar app, start the hotkey listener on its own background thread, and we hand control to the app. Now all the three pieces are running together. The icon, the listener, and the transcription on demand. One last touch. I don't want to start this from the terminal every morning. So a tiny launched agent starts automatically when I log in. The microphone icon is just always there. That's the difference between a script that you run and a tool that you actually use. I never wanted to think about, was this app on? I just wanted it on. And that's what I call a good app. There's zero friction, it's always on, it always works. So here it is doing the thing. Browser search bar, option plus space. Talk, option plus space, done. Dictate email, dictate to Slack, or make a comment somewhere. There's no window popping up. The icon goes red, the hourglass will come up if it's working, and the text is just there. That's the whole signal chain we built, running end to end. It's a really simple, seamless, low-friction app, and I love it. So let's zoom back out, because the app is almost beside the point. We actually did follow a method. And I think this reverse engineering that we did, it's a really good way for you to see and learn what a good PRD feels and looks like. Take a process that's in your domain knowledge and see if you can put it into a spec sheet or a PRD. And that will give you a good idea as to how you might start going about actually building an app for that. You'll understand your workflow and your app yourself. You'll understand your own domain knowledge, let's call it your domain app, and you'll write a far better PRD going forward should you ever decide to do something. The PRD and the full code are linked below, and they're on my website, so it makes it easy for you to get. If you've got some ideas as to how this might be improved, please tell me in the comments, and I'll see if I can build the next one. I'm Jim Kennedy. Go build something small and finish it. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.